Hey, hello, and thanks for checking out this video. This week there's no game pickup video, there's just this, and this video is all about the channel itself. And I want to talk about my experience so far, because I started last year around the summer with the game pickup videos, and so far have been uploading videos like every week or so. And I just want to go over that experience and what my thoughts are currently for this channel and what the plans are. The plan is not to delete the channel or to completely stop with the game pickup videos, but there needs to be a change, and kind of want to talk about that, and want to update you if you watch my video so you kind of know what is going on. But long story short though, I'm really not able to upload a game pickup video every week. I just can't, for a couple of reasons, and I will go over that. Listen, showing a game pickup video or making a game pick video requires a bit of time, but also to show like 4 or 5 games like every week that are new for the collection, that kind of adds up rather quickly. And purchasing like 20 games or so every month, it's a bit nuts, man. Let's be honest, that is not a sustainable thing to do. So yeah, not necessarily want to talk about that, but that's the very short reason why I need to think about a change for the channel. And for example, this week there's no game pickup video. So yeah, where to begin? Let's just begin at the start, because last year around the summer, I started with uploading videos where I talked about the games that I've picked up. The first one, it was at the start of my vacation. Like I got a long vacation every summer, and around the time, like I tried to do something differently, or do something new, something creative, or do something that I normally don't have the time for. The summer, like a vacation for me, is not sitting still. It's partially sitting still and doing nothing at all, but also just work towards something so that I do feel like I'm productive. And again, I love to learn. Everybody loves to learn. So yeah, last summer, I purchased a camera with slightly the intent to use it to make videos, but I wasn't quite sure what about. But also that cam, I purchased that to bring along with the vacation, and I decided to record a video of me sitting around there, and kind of low energy, just talk about some couple Xbox 360 games that I picked up, because I thought, hey, this is maybe a funny thing to do, and and so I did. But that kind of escalated rather quickly, because it escalated because I was not really doing that before that with this channel, because I used it for archival purposes to upload my Twitch streams. And also I did a couple game pickup videos before that, but those were in Dutch, and also like a tutorial video where I showed like, hey, this is how you clean a NES game. And besides that, there was a different video as well where I showed me programming and making games, because hey, YouTube is not my work, and game dev also, well, it is a job. It is work though that I do, but I have a different main job, almost full time. And besides that, like, I'm a game developer, or have a desire to be a game developer, because I love making games. And I've been working on my first game for 10 years now, part-time. But yeah, 10 years has been a very long time. But in the last couple of years or so, like it's been rather slow. Like finishing up a game, don't want to go in depth about it though in this video, but making a game is one thing, but then actually finishing it, it's a whole different story. And it's kind of nuts. And yeah, it's also kind of nuts to work on a game alone for 10 years. Don't really recommend it, but although it's a good experience. But yeah, so I uploaded to my YouTube channel like videos about game development, and one of the later ones was where I attempted to make a Zelda type of game, like the based on like the original Zelda on the NES. Just because I wanted to learn and kind of wanted to understand, like, okay, what does it actually entail to make something like that? I love prototyping things to actually get a better understanding of, like, yeah, how does it actually work and how would those systems probably work, or how do I build something very similar to that? So yeah, I made some videos about that. So back to the video that I made over there about the Xbox 360 and how that escalated is that it was a very short video, about like 10 or 15 minutes long, and I just uploaded it without selecting or making a thumbnail or do any editing. Yeah, somehow YouTube picked it up, and I think the reason was because a lot of people were just searching for Xbox 360 recommendations, because it was around the time of or maybe like a month before, like the store was actually closing down, 1 or 2 months. And yeah, so that actually made it or had an impact on that video, because it escalated in the sense that suddenly I got like a ton of subscribers and a ton of views, like on a single video. I do have like a couple videos that have like a large view count, but that is just a tutorial for a certain program, and people keep searching for that. And it's also an old video, so it has been slowly like building up. But yeah, that Xbox 360 video, I think like in the first couple of days or so, it kind of rose to like 500 views. And maybe you might think now, like, hey, that's not a ton. Hey, listen, if you have owned like a YouTube channel for a long time, and you only get like 1 or 2 views like for a video, getting like 500 is certainly like a ton. Like, yeah, that is a lot, especially for me, because like the game dev videos did okay, but there's this thing with the YouTube algorithm, like, hey, I sometimes I have the assumption that it kind of, when you upload something that's different from what you're used to upload, that it kind of boosts the first video again, and then slowly, like, there's this huge decline. Not gonna go in depth about it for sure. But yeah, so kind of like the algorithm picked up that Xbox 360 video, and based on that, like in the last, I was about to go on a vacation. I recorded like a multiple videos at once, or at the same time, or same day, like 2 or 3 or so that at least every week there would be a game pickup video or something that I would talk about when I was on vacation. And yeah, it was a very easy thing to do, and the response was very positive, but also people watch it quite a bit, because yeah, like at the moment, like that video now is at 2,000 or so. It has stalled for sure, but I still see like that people are watching like the older Xbox 360 videos. But yeah, that kind of made me like, oh, this is something that I could do as well, because I love this kind of stuff, like recording, and I have the equipment, because for streaming and just also for work related stuff, like I do have the setup, and I have editing experience from the past, from my study, and so yeah, it is something that I like to do. So I was thinking, oh, maybe this is finally something that helps like grow the channel, or this is something that is also a thing that I could do. Like, hey, I like collecting games and talking about them and recommending games, and getting like games recommended by the comments as well. I was thinking, oh, that's kind of cool. And the thing is that yeah, the first couple of videos did okay, and This is, by the way, me not complaining about the view count now being lower and that suddenly I have less subscribers at the moment. This is not a complaint at all. Like, again, already have like enough work to do with 2 jobs and don't want to maintain like a huge YouTube channel unless it could replace one of those 2. But again, I love making games, and that is not something I hate it also sometimes, but I love making games. But yeah, back to the videos. So they did okay and still do. But yeah, the problem is that with game dev, it's funny how I keep finding like a connection with the game dev stuff. But yeah, an important part is like, hey, listen to feedback. And one of the things that I was actually missing from the videos was gameplay footage, because I was just turning on that camera, talk for 10 minutes and upload it, and no editing at all. But then I was thinking, I could do that. Like, again, I do have the equipment to capture gameplay footage and actually have everything like nicely connected over here to my site. So it is somewhat easy to switch out consoles and to play or at least stream something. But yeah, capturing footage is kind of what broke me in the last couple of months. In the first couple months or so, it was very doable and fun to do. Also editing it, but it made the whole process a little bit longer and more difficult. And that is what I'm currently really struggling with, because it requires a ton of time. So, I like to think about the design and the process and how can I make this more efficient. And I have not found a solution yet to make it more efficient. Because, again, when I get like a new game and kind of want to show it and, have something to show on the screen, I need to capture that footage. But there are 2 options, of course. Like, I capture my own footage, or I capture the footage from YouTube itself. Although you're not kind of allowed to do that, or some channels don't do that. But that means, with that second option, that might be like the easier way to go. So I can just capture or download the video and then edit it. But, still there are some downsides, like maybe there's commentary, or it's not like enticing gameplay footage to look at, or the audio quality is bad, or the video quality is bad, because, hey, still you're downloading a video from YouTube or using a video from YouTube. Sometimes the bitrate is just like terrible, so it doesn't look well. And you need to have like a certain standard, okay? But yeah, it's the easiest option, but still, it doesn't mean because it's the easiest option that it requires no time at all. Probably a little bit less, but my assumption is that it still requires too much time. But yeah, capturing your own footage, like sometimes with certain games, it's very easy to do. Like, hey, if you get like a new Contra game, there's enough action like going on at the beginning, and there's probably no tutorial, right? But with quite a few games, like that kind of breaks me with the process, is that you get like a tutorial. Maybe the beginning isn't that interesting enough to actually watch, or doesn't show really what the game is about. So you need to play a little bit more of it. Oh yeah, playing games, what a terrible thing. But yeah, if you want to capture like footage from that, like at least you need to play like half an hour or like an hour or so to get to something that is interesting. So you capture it, and I get like a few minutes of footage, and that's it. But yeah, if that takes like half an hour, or let's just say an hour, because in most times, for my experience now, it has been like an hour just to capture some footage of a newish game. Like all the games are a bit quicker, and you have like 5 games to show. That is like 5 hours long, and if you need to play like 5 games, and you need to be in the mood to play those games, and the only thing that you actually do is watch the tutorial, play a little bit, then capture it, and that's it. And just for a couple of minutes of footage to actually show in the video, and in the end, it's maybe like a minute or 2 minutes or so that you get to see. But yeah, I didn't mind like doing that during the vacation because I had all the time in the world to actually do that. Did mean though that during the vacation I had less time to actually do game development stuff because I was working on the videos. But I also like editing videos and making them. And the videos that I definitely liked to make were those game convention videos. By the way, just going out there, record footage, and show the convention itself. And yeah, that was just like super fun. And also the CX videos, like going to the CX videos or the CX locations in Cork Island. Anyway, it just requires like a ton of time. And one thing that I noticed, and after the vacation, like my work started again in September, is that I tried keeping up with the momentum of like uploading videos like every week. And again, I think I did every week and did not miss a day. There might have been like a day where I uploaded a video on a Sunday, or a little bit later on a Saturday, or on a Friday if I was like done with editing the video. Sometimes I did feel like waiting, but during that process I was also kind of curious about how the YouTube algorithm would react to those type of videos, because one thing is for sure, if you miss a certain day for uploading a video, it already puts you a little bit like in the back, like, oh, you're not doing anything, and I'm not gonna push like the videos to other people to watch. It is very, from my experience, very aggressive. But yeah, the videos, I had a ton of fun making them and just showing the collection. And I love getting like recommendations and people commenting and discovering new games. That has been definitely a plus. And here and there, I enjoyed playing the games to record the footage. But again, it just required a ton of time. So after the vacation, I started to work again and had to pick up my game dev stuff. And that kind of meant that either on Friday, because Friday is my work day, game dev work day, either I was doing that or was programming or making a game, or I was doing that late at night, like recording footage and then quickly editing the video on the Saturday morning. Making like the last couple of videos or so, my estimate is that it takes about like 6 or 8 hours or so. And it's a ton. And that's a huge difference when you compare to the first couple of videos that did very well, where, again, I just sat there, talked to the cam for 10 minutes and uploaded it without any quality control or editing and selecting thumbnails. For selecting thumbnails, by the way, it has always been a joke, personal joke, internal joke for me, is with the Twitch streams, is just to upload a video, don't care about the thumbnail at all, and select the ugliest one where I have like when there's a photo of me with a silly face. I kind of wanted to continue doing that with the videos, but slowly you get some feedback like, hey, would be nice to see some gameplay footage, would be nice to see this or see that, and you need to listen to the feedback. I started talking about the feedback, but then got sidetracked, but here we are. But yeah, so I kind of it escalated, and I just wanted to make some very nice looking videos, and was searching constantly for like how can I actually improve these videos and to make like a better experience, because that is kind of what you want, right? But every time it took more and more energy and time to actually do so. There were a couple of weeks where I didn't include the gameplay footage, and then when it was like really busy with my work and I really didn't want to capture like gameplay footage. But still, without gameplay footage, sometimes it's kind of like recording a video, like it's not scripted at all, so I just talk about it Sometimes it goes well, and I can go over like 5 games, like why I picked them up, and it's really easy to edit like the video. But there are some occasions where you kind of don't feel like talking to the camera or talking about the games themselves, or there's just not much to say. And because I started to editing like the videos a bit differently, I started to notice that I started to talk about a game, didn't feel like good about it, redid that segment over and over again. So slowly I started to talk about a single game for like an hour or hour and a half just to get my point across. Because yeah, sometimes again you're not in the mood and it doesn't go that smoothly as you want to. So even sometimes without the gameplay footage, like recording a video about the game pickups just required like a whole day just recording, and that's kind of madness. But again, there were some occasions where it just kind of goes smoothly and I'm done like within an hour, and then only I have to edit it, and you know, I'm done like in 4 hours or so. But now, having said that though, and now you get like, or have like a little bit like background info behind the scenes, like how long it took to make those videos. A thing that did happen though with the channel is that although some of the footage or some of the videos still get pushed to your kind of like, hey, maybe you should check this out thing on YouTube. It is different though, because I get like a couple or maybe 360 videos do well, but definitely not that good anymore. Since the store has been closed, like there's a slow decline. Like last week's video has like 300 views. And again, I'm not doing this for getting more views and or complaining like, hey, no one is watching the videos. Like, I'm just having fun. But at some point when you stop like having fun, you need to think about like, okay, how can we change this up a little bit? But the like every video gets like less and less views. If it's not about Xbox 360, you know, the view count is around like 70 or 100, and that's it. And you know, it's still a lot of people, definitely more than the other videos that I made, but it's not really a ton. And you know, I think that after you have like uploaded the video, of course you're building some type of like catalog of videos that someone could someday watch or discover. But it is definitely getting harder and harder to discover my channel because there are so many other channels out there. And if I make like a video and I spend that amount of time on it and it just gets like thrown into a void, then the question is like, why am I actually spending so much time making this? Well, because some people still watch it. But yeah, besides the view count though, like there is this average like view length, and for most of the videos it's around like 3 minutes or so. So I think my assumption, or based on that data, my assumption is there are a couple people that like watching my videos and watch like the full extent. But based on like 70 or like the 100 views, a huge part just watches the intro and maybe checks out the first game. And if they see that it's maybe not like about the Xbox 360, they stop the video, and that's it. So there are just a handful of people actually watching the video, and as always, what I say at the end of the video, I highly appreciate like the likes and the subscribes, but I also highly appreciate people actually watching me talk about video games. And that is also, yeah, why I am not like stopping with the channel, but mostly kind of want to share this. And I'm just thinking about like, hey, what can I do to improve the channel, or what could I do differently? Because, you know, like talking about video games, it is just super fun. And again, I just like sharing the journey of like collecting video games and showing like the oddities out there, like the rare games, and showing like, hey, that deals are still possible, and yeah, so it has been like super fun. But yeah, I kind of need to change it up a little bit, and one of the reasons is like that I shared like in the beginning. I kind of can't keep up with the tempo of like making a game pickup video like every week, because it's kind of insane. Because it is a very expensive hobby, and last year I spent a ton of time and energy to actually find those deals. It required like a ton of like buying games, selling games, trading games, getting vouchers at CEX, checking out like Vinted, and like a hawk, and it just required like a ton of energy to actually make that possible. But at the moment, maybe this is due to the fact that it's also a little bit like busy at my work. And I need to really focus on my game development again more. That I think like, am I actually able to keep this up? And the answer is no. Like, no way. And I'm not able to keep it up, but also I'm collecting for a couple of systems, and the reality is I really don't want to collect for another system. If the Switch 2 is out, like chances are I will collect those games. But yeah, a lot of people are. My assumption are watching this video to know more about the Xbox 360, but also that interest in that console is slowly declining. And I'm kind of done with the Xbox 360 collecting. Like, I got a ton of games, and there are just like 5 or 10 or so on my list of games that I still want to add to that collection. But yeah, if you are like watching this and you want to see more Xbox 360 games, there's just not gonna be that many this year. That might completely change, but it's very unlikely. Unless I see a very good deal for like all of them, I will pick them up. But I'm not actively searching for Xbox 360 games anymore. And yeah, I kind of want to shift my focus and with the collection, and also change my collecting habits, because yeah, with what I just said, like, it's not sustainable at all. And it was fun doing it, and it might pick up again, and currently I just kind of need to slow down and reevaluate like what I want to do with my collection. But yeah, there's not gonna be like any Xbox 360 game pickup videos, or at least videos that are solely focused on the Xbox 360. Maybe I show some games, you know, so some let's plays. But that is something that I could do. Like, listen, I'm thinking about like what the next step is. That is something that I could do. But yeah, picking up like Xbox 360 games is very unlikely. So that kind of makes it. Yeah, what I'm getting at is that this is maybe more info for you. Like, hey, don't expect that, please, because I need to slow it down and chill out a little bit with the collecting. And last year it was absolutely a crazy ride. So many games. I think last year was definitely the craziest year with the collecting, and it was super fun to do. But yeah, the reality is, and I was trying to get to this point as well, is besides like the whole 360 thing, is that I for some consoles, like, I'm kind of like at the end point where there are always more games that I kind of want to add to it, but not necessarily that I feel like, oh yeah, today I'm gonna search out this game because I still need to get it. I kind of want to discover them, stumble upon them. And yeah, the chances of like that happening is super low. Because I do see for the PlayStation 2, for example, yeah, let's go over yeah, my collection and where it currently is, and then maybe get back to the point of like, hey, what's next actually for the channel. but yeah, for the PlayStation 2, for example, like I got some amazing games like last year, like Quan, Shattered Memories, the Silent Hill one, most of the Silent Hill games like last year, the Forbidden Siren like 1 and 2 at game conventions, picked that one up, those up, and yeah, I think last year I even got like God Hand and Blood Will Tell. I got some crazy rare PlayStation 2 titles, and I keep saying like in the Game Picker videos, like, hey, I'm not actively collecting for the PlayStation 2 or really collecting PlayStation 2 because that was actually true. I was trying to sell my collection and didn't want to focus on it. But then I started to think about like, yeah, you know what? I actually like horror games and I like the Samurai Nia type of games on the PlayStation 2. Maybe I should actually collect for it. And now in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I kind of like the Shin Megami Tensei type of games. Maybe I need to look at that as well. So that escalated to some extent, but I'm really happy that I actually did and found those deals for those games and that I was able to add those to my collection. But I love making lists, and for the PlayStation 2, that list, is very comparable to like the Xbox 360. There are, besides like the Armored Core games that I really want to get for the PlayStation 2, because for the From Software sub collection, there are maybe 8 games or so on that list that I really want to have in my PlayStation 2 collection. And then I am done with the PlayStation 2 because I'm not gonna actively search for other games that I don't own and that I might play. No, if I add a game to my collection, it means that I really want to play it, that I'm very curious about it, that I'm super interested in it, or that I have some like nostalgic reasons for it, or even getting back to the game dev, I really want to play it because I have a feeling I might actually learn something from this game. So there are a couple of reasons why I purchase a game, and not solely because they are super rare. Like there is a very good reason why I picked up Quan, besides it being a sub collection and it being a From Software game. It is something that I think I can learn from, and that I could gain some knowledge that I could put back into my game dev work. But yeah, the PlayStation 2 list, it's very small now. Just a few more games, and there are a couple of expensive games on there. Maybe the most expensive game is Project Zero 3, and besides that one, 2. And you kind of want to have some of the Street Fighter, like the anthology games, but not a ton. So I'm kind of like chilling out right now with the PlayStation 2. And something like a Project Zero 2 or 3, those are games that I just want to pick up at a game convention, and unless I find like a good deal again, chances are I will pick those up at some point at a game convention. And my assumption is as well that the price is not going to go that much up like this year for those type of games. Could be wrong though, but who knows? I think the chances are very low of that actually happening. And besides that, like of course the GameCube is gonna be maybe like my main focus for this year. I've talked about. Did I actually talk about this video and that I was no longer doing that video? I might have, but I might have also deleted it. There was this video that I was working on for the GameCube, and it was 2 hours long, and it was too long. It was me talking about the GameCube and what it actually meant to go for a full collection, and it was me going over like the top 10 list of games that I was missing from that top 10, like the most expensive games. And it's a whole video. No longer doing that because I do have a different opinion now about like a full GameCube collection. But it is something that I am doing or kind of want to, but I don't want to force myself and push myself that like every day I need to find like the new GameCube titles or new GameCube titles that I still don't own in a collection. And there are still quite a few GameCube games that I still need to add, but I'm definitely beyond like the halfway point for the GameCube. That was my first goal, but I'm definitely over that. And there are still quite a few GameCube games that I've not shown that I've actually picked up in the last half year or so because, you know, it didn't work out with the game pickup videos. So yeah, that is something that is not really at the end like the GameCube. Like there's still like a long list of games that I want to add. But from that list though, there are maybe 5 games or so that I really want to add to that collection. For example, something like a Ribbit King or I think Ribbit King is actually very high. Oh yeah, the Mario Baseball, because I do want to get like all the first party titles for the Nintendo GameCube. I'm missing the baseball still and the Odama and yeah apologies, the Mario Baseball is probably the rarer title of those 2 and also of those 3. But yeah, the GameCube, that is not like nearing the end. Definitely not when I compare like to the PlayStation 2. For the NES, I'm very happy with my collection. Got like most of the good games. There are still some games missing, like Chip and Dale 2. But that's definitely a game that I need to save up money for to actually get. I hope that I someday or maybe this year am able to finish that Capcom sub collection. And I'm missing like 2 or 3 games or so, I think. But yeah, for the NES, like at some point in my life, I was thinking, hey, I want to go for like a full, complete retail release NTSC collection. And yeah, I've talked about it like here and there with the Game Pick videos. That is very unlikely ever gonna happen, because somehow in my mind I was thinking that Little Samson was kind of affordable. It's not. It's over 2K, man. I think in a video like a couple months ago I said like, yeah, it's over 1K. No, it's actually over 2K. It's crazy. And that's not the only game that you need to get. Like there are so many games out on there, and I just don't want to. With the GameCube, I'm fine with the filler titles or titles that I actually don't want to play, but that's the only console that I kind of feel like, yeah, sure. With that, it's okay. But for the NES, I could not imagine like going for a full GameCube or an NES collection, because of like a few games that are just like super expensive. And also there are some games that are super expensive and just really not fun to play. And I need to import that. Importing nowadays is just terrible. It's so expensive. It doubles the price for every game, almost, like not even kidding. So unless I find like a good deal and see like a game at a game convention, because yeah, you know, a couple months ago I found like 3 games or so at the Tilburg Game Convention. I found like 3 NES games. Like in those instances, if I think like, this might be like a fun game to own, I'll pick them up. But I'm not actively like going for like, I need to get these games now before they get more expensive or whatever. For the NES, I'm kind of chill with it, and to a certain extent, I accepted the current state of that collection already. Like, I got a ton of like NES, NTSC games, and I'm happy with that, man, because it's a good collection and got most of like the top hits, and I don't see that one or I could improve it like a little bit, but already it is NTSC. I had to import like most of them or just find them like here and there, and it has been a journey to get this collection like the two cases like two Billy bookshelf thingies full. Like I'm cool with it, man. Like at some point, like maybe 2 or 3 years or so ago, I was really searching for every game that I did not own, trying to focus on games that I kind of want to check out. But yeah, again, I'm cool with that collection. So that is also that is kind of like just in limbo, so to say. Like it's unlikely that I show a new game in a game pickup video. Similar to like the Super Nintendo, I might have shown like a couple like Super Nintendo games on the game pickup videos, but very similar to the NES. But yeah, that collection is definitely smaller, and it's very funny. I like the Super Nintendo, but yeah, somehow like the NES is a little bit closer to my heart. Again, I think that has to do with the game development, because I really want to make games similar to like the NES, and I'm a pixel artist. Besides programming, I make my own pixel art, and that is kind of like what I love to draw, like pixel art that is very reminiscent to like the NES and to some extent like Super Nintendo, but NES is what I like to look at and try to emulate, so to say. But yeah, the Super Nintendo, like that collection has been, or I definitely got some bangers, got some very good titles in that collection, and titles that I did not dream of owning like many years ago. Also is NTSC. So when I see a game for a good deal and I don't own it, I will pick it up. But I am not searching for on eBay for certain titles. I don't have any alert set up like, hey, when a new listing pops up for that game, that I need to jump on it and buy it as soon as possible. Like me talking about this now, there might be, do I want to guess like Sunset Riders? Yes, I think so. But what else is there? Secret of Evermore. I don't know, man. Like that's the thing. Like I need to delve deep in it, and I kind of like it that in my mind I'm okay with the current state of that collection. Like it's not like there's a list. I do have like a Super Nintendo list, even a range from like low to mid to high tier and high priority. But yeah, there's nothing like for the Super Nintendo that I feel like, hey, again with the eBay search, or that I try to search on Vinted, like, hey, is anyone selling this game today? No. Nintendo 64, somewhat similar though. Super Nintendo, by the way, and I'm gonna go for a full collection if that wasn't clear. I'm okay with this, and don't want to add way too more games to the collection. If it's like 2 rows like these, it almost is, then hey, that is it. Unless I find a very good deal for all the Super Nintendo games, like I'm not gonna say no, and I mean like a very good deal. 1K for all the Super Nintendo games, please. But yeah, the Nintendo 64, still, like, I'm very happy with the games that I own. Definitely because I do see like 2025 could be the year of the Nintendo 64. I highly believe that, due to the fact that the Analog 3D is coming out, and that means that people are searching more for the Nintendo 64, and I feel like more people will start to talk about it. It will probably pop up more in on YouTube videos, so people might get like reminded, like, hey, I played this game like in the past, I might want to get it. somehow I also feel like with the Nintendo 64 that people are getting more nostalgic for it and are more open for that platform with um, like how it actually looks. And by that I mean in the last or for a very long time, like the Nintendo 64 is not that popular because of how it looked, and it doesn't translate or it doesn't look well on the TV like an LCD. But with the Analog 3D, that is gonna change, and with the upscalers, that is definitely like a different story. But I feel like that people slowly starting to kind of appreciate with the way the Nintendo 64 looks. That's actually what I'm getting at, and yeah, that's also something that you kind of see with the game development, that we had our pixel art games like games inspired by the NES and the Super Nintendo, and now slowly, or not slowly, in the recent years or so, you kind of see that the generation of like PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64 like here and there, not by a ton, because uh, making those type of games is definitely not an easy thing, but you kind of see it more here and there. But not sure there's probably a word for it, but it's more like I want to say osmosis, but that is not it. If you were to create like a word cloud now, Nintendo 64 would be like in a bigger font. I never made a word cloud, but that's the only metaphor that I could think of. I hope my point is like clear. Somehow it's just a gut feeling. I think again 2025 is the year of the Nintendo 64, and maybe at the end we will see that is definitely not the case. But yeah, it might actually be time for the Nintendo 64. It never had its time. I feel like, but yeah. So because of that, in recent years, I've been searching out for more Nintendo 64 games and TSC. Because at the moment when I was already collecting Nintendo 64, but at the moment when Analog actually announced they were working on a machine like that, and that might have been like 2 or 3 years or so ago, my first instinct was like, I need to kind of collect a little bit more Nintendo 64 because this might actually happen. And again, I might be wrong about that. Yeah, probably are. But still, the games are getting rarer and more expensive for the Nintendo 64. Not by a ton, but it's slowly climbing up. It is just. This is the final thing that I'm gonna say about that. It's gonna be a very fascinating thing to watch. But the Nintendo 64, very happy with my collection at the moment. Got a ton of games. Also, over the am I over the halfway point? I think I am. I think I am slowly, or at least near. But yeah, for that console, like I got most of the games that are like must plays. There are still a couple games on the list though, like 5 or 10 ish or so, that that are like affordable, below like 100 euros. Yeah, above 100 is not affordable anymore. That makes you think like a couple of times, like, am I sure that I actually want to play this one? StarCraft, like StarCraft is expensive, but it would be a very nice thing to have. But it's something that you play maybe like for an hour or so and then never pick up again. It is a very fascinating thing to own. Not necessarily from a game dev perspective, but just to kind of see like how they ported it and what they did to make a game like that work on a Nintendo 64 with that controller. So slightly game dev, but not a ton. It's just fascinating. But yeah, there are like 5 or 10 games or so for the Nintendo 64 that I want to add to my collection, and at some point maybe go for a full collection. But that's not the focus for now. The focus for now is getting those 5 or 10 games, and that's definitely what I want to do in the following months, like next year. Next year definitely, but next half year. Don't want to wait too long with that. because the Analog 3D is coming out hopefully around March. Will probably get delayed for a little bit. I'm okay with that. But yeah, that's from the channel perspective and like Twitch streaming, that's gonna be very exciting. And I'm kind of waiting with playing that collection because I do have a Nintendo 64 that is modded with RGB and it looks very nice on the TV, but you know, the captured footage just doesn't look that very nice, and something like an Analog 3D is definitely gonna help with that. So it's gonna be more fun to play some games and stream them or capture footage from them. So again, I've been kind of postponing myself to play the Nintendo 64 library. But yeah, that's also besides like the 5 or 10 games or so, there are some expensive games that are maybe nice to have, like fascinating ones. Again, something like a StarCraft or some other games that I've never played that people say like, hey, these are interesting. But there's also like a ton of games on that machine that are kind of cheap, but also not that great. Listen, I'm not a big wrestling fan, and there are a ton of wrestling games on the Nintendo 64. I just did not grew up with that stuff. Not interested in it, and it would kind of suck if I had to purchase those games. If I see them for cheap though, and it helps me getting closer to the full collection, I will pick them up. But it's definitely not a high priority for me at the moment. What else is there? Yeah, PlayStation 1, kind of dormant. Happy with that collection. Missing out a couple games. But yeah, it's a very tricky one to grow, like to add more games to it, because the games that I kind of want to add are expensive as hell, and or some of them are kind of rare in Europe. Like they are very difficult to get because I'm collecting NTSC for the PlayStation 1. Forgot to mention that. So yeah, it's very dormant. I like my collection. It's something that I focused on 2-3 years or so ago. Then at that point I was heavily like searching for like PlayStation 1 games and importing that one like crazy, and very happy that I did, because the from what I could gather, but I'm not really looking at the prices right now. The PlayStation 1 is getting more expensive. I again, and when I see games now that are kind of like on my list, or like, oh, that could be fun to play, I see the price, I'm like, no, it's not this fun. Like I never played it, and not gonna. There are other games that I would instead like to purchase. 3DS and DS are not really actively collecting for, but if I get the game, then it's fine. And that's the 3DS, for example, and the DS are just a slow burn, because my priority for those consoles is that I just want to get like the first party titles, and that's it, and some cooler games from third party, but that's kind of it. Still, like getting like the first party titles for the DS and 3DS are it's insane though. If I do count like the Pokemon games, then you need to count those. But those are like in the back of the mind, man. The Pokemon games for the DS are nuts. I do have like all the Pokemon games for the 3DS, besides like some of the non-canon ones, or however you want to call them, like the Academy Pokemon or Pikachu edition, and the World Rumble or something like that. But yeah, so kind of, if it isn't obvious, for like most of the consoles that I own and that I want to collect for, there are just not that many games that I want to get anymore, because of the last 2 years or so ago, or the last 3 years that I've been collecting like video games more actively. Like kind of nearing some sort of endpoint, and it's not like the endpoint is reached within a couple months if you continue doing this, but kind of want to slow down a little bit, especially after last year, because that was just nuts. And yeah, that kind of made me think more about the collecting habits, and what the plan is for this year, but also kind of how that impacts like the game pickup videos. Because besides it requiring like a ton of work, it is just not sustainable. I can't keep up the tempo and keep buying new games just to show them. So having like a game pickup video every week is nuts, man. It's nuts. Don't know how I did it. I know how I did it, but I don't think I'm able to do that right now, especially when I think about my work and my game dev work, and what is planned for that this year, because this year is definitely the time when I kind of need to release that game that I've been working on for 10 years, and can't really postpone it any longer, because yeah, after 10 years you kind of want to do something new and work in a new game. So yeah, can't keep up the tempo. So that means that every week I'm just not really able to make a game pickup video, and it's very difficult for me to say like it's gonna be like maybe once a month, and in between like there's gonna be like different videos, because I'm currently thinking about it. Next week there might be a game pickup video if I have the time, but it could also be at the end of the month. So I had this rhythm of like making the videos for every week, but that is just something that I'm not able to do anymore. So if you expect that every weekend there is a game pickup video, my apologies, there is not gonna be a game pickup video. I will think about what I could do as well for videos, and see, that's the tricky part. People watch this channel, I think, for the most part for the game pickup videos. Not necessarily for like the let's plays, but I kind of enjoy doing the let's plays. Just check like a half an hour or an hour or of a video game. Kind of want to explore that maybe a little bit more this year, because then I could just focus on one game, get to play a game, and maybe I discover like something new that I actually do want to play a bit more of. Because yeah, at some point you kind of need to play your games as well for my collection. It's not just for show. You need to play them, and that's why I collect the games. But yeah, the tricky part is that I am not sure like how the YouTube algorithm is gonna act on like different type of videos, and also I don't know if you are gonna enjoy those videos, because the chances are you have subscribed to this channel because you want to see like games that I've picked up, to see maybe if I talk about a game that you don't know about, or maybe something that you need to pick up. And the thing is, like, I completely understand if you're not interested in the other videos. The most important part though with this channel is that it's not gonna be more because it's a new year. It's gonna be less, or it's gonna be different, and that's gonna impact like the subscribers or the view count. And I am completely fine with that, because the most important part is I need to be happy with the stuff that I'm doing. Otherwise, it's just gonna be super boring, and you will notice that in a video if I'm actually not happy doing the thing that I am talking about. Because I'm not going to talk about random ass video games that I don't care about, and that I solely just purchased to have something to talk about in a video. And I think that's a nice thing with this channel. I don't really care about low view counts, and if the subscriber count is dwindling, because this is not my main job. I have my hands full already with work that I need to do, just too much. And I love making the videos, but sometimes I'm just gonna make a very simple video. Sometimes I might just actually make a game dev video, because Because I'm working more or have to work more on my game, it is very likely I will share something about that as well, and talk about my game dev experience, or just need to upload a video just solely to showcase the game to publishers or to someone else, to other people that are interested in it. So yeah, the change for this channel for this year, I've talked a ton. I have time for this right now. It's almost 8 p.m. though. Kind of want to watch a movie. But yeah, in short, I'm not. Sometimes I'm not really short with what I'm saying, but sometimes this videos just turn into a podcast, and I also know that people don't appreciate like long videos, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes the longer videos are the easiest to make because it just requires like an hour of me talking about a certain thing, instead of spending 6 hours capturing gameplay footage and a few other hours added to that to edit the video. But yeah, the game picker videos, I think I made my point. Like, I hope you're open for other videos that I do, but also highly understand it if you are not, because yeah, I set a bar that every week there's a game pickup video or a game hunt video. But yeah, there's probably gonna be some other videos, but chances are that during a weekend, if I really don't have the time, there's no video at all. This year, I'm not gonna care about the YouTube algorithm, because it's not working anyway. Like, uploading a video every week is not changing up the view count, and that's fine. But I don't want to feel the need that I need to upload a video. And maybe I will just upload like a Twitch stream that you could watch, or again, a game dev video. But I'm thinking about that. My main thing that I want to convey is that, well, two things. There's not going to be that many game pickup videos. And there are going to be different videos, but I'm not sure what, and I'm thinking about it. But yeah, solely just trying to make sure that you know what is up, and why this year there's going to be a change for at least for now, though. You know, when it's summertime again, I might have more time and make a ton of videos. But yeah, kind of thinking about it, maybe you do have some suggestions for type of videos that you would like to see. But I think I really would love to switch it up. Maybe some Twitch streams, maybe some Let's Plays, maybe some game pickup videos when there are enough games to talk about. Maybe don't focus too much on the gameplay footage, or only record gameplay footage of like the highlights of the games that I've picked up. But yeah, I definitely want to keep continuing like recording and making videos for like the game conventions, because that has been like, that required like a ton of time, but that was definitely the most fun thing to do last year. And yeah, this year there are a ton of like game conventions again. I think the next one is actually happening next month, at the end of next month. And then maybe in April or around like May or June again, the Tilburg one is coming up. It's gonna be like 5 months or so, but before you know, it's like time flies, man. But yeah, there are a ton of like game conventions, and I do want to keep doing that, like recording that, making those videos, because that was just super fun. And besides that, I think that's the video. Hey, welcome. It's 2025. Yeah, it's just super fun. I kind of want to share it. If you're still listening, hey, I appreciate it. And I'm serious. Like, if you do have some feedback, or if you know, like, hey, it would be fun if you could make a video about this or that. Got an awesome suggestion last year though, from someone called Patches. that it would be fun to record a video about some rare items that I have, like game-related items or just rare games, games that are not necessarily that expensive, but things that I think are super rare. That is definitely a video that I want to make, and that's just gonna be me talking about those things. So it's hopefully an easy thing to do. Easy. Like 10 hours or so at the end. But yeah, it's time to kind of switch it up. Definitely don't want to make more videos in a week. Just stick to one or a couple in a month, but not more, because less is more. If you think about it, man. If you really think about it, like you know what I mean. But yeah, the thing is though, for real, that it needs to be fun. Otherwise, it's not gonna be fun at all to watch, and it's just gonna going through the motions. And that is definitely not how I work. I like changing it up, seeing what works, what doesn't work. Because that is when you start to learn new things. If you do the same thing over and over again without any improvement, or just the same stuff, it's just mindless, man. You could just rewatch like the first Game Pickup video and go through that stuff again, and just stick in that loop. That is something that you could do, like, if you want. But yeah, I think that's it. I kind of combined like a few different things, my game collection and where I am at the moment. Probably we'll talk about that more like in the next couple months, because I'm just thinking about it. But the Game Pickup videos, game dev work, something that I do want to share more about. But yeah, that is definitely gonna impact like the channel. But I'm highly okay with it, because I don't earn anything from this. You need like 500 subscribers and like a couple of things, and then you earn maybe like €1. So that is not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it is just very fun thing to do. But one thing that was no longer fun was making a Game Pickup video every week. It's just not sustainable. But I made my point. Also, another idea for a video. I was just checking a game that I was playing and actually finished like last week. Kind of want to talk about more about that. Like, sometimes I really don't have like time to play games, but kind of in the mood to play some games now. I actually finished the game last week. It's a very rare occasion that actually happens. Kind of want to talk about it as well. Just what I've been playing, and maybe stuff like that. One thing that I know for sure though is it is Friday evening, 8 p.m. and I'm gonna chill out, watch a movie. Not gonna start videos about movies because I really am not able to go in depth about movies at all. Don't know a thing about movies. But yeah, I'm gonna chill out. So thanks all for watching, and again, I appreciate all the likes and the subscribes in the last couple of weeks, and also I do highly appreciate you watching and listening to me ramble on about video games, about the difficulties with YouTube, about the heavy burden of buying video games every week. It's so tough. It is a very difficult thing to do. Again, thank you, and see y'all later. Bye.